It's an absolute brawl is right. This is going to be to prove who can come out on top of this pool. You've got NaVi sitting at 0-2, Dan. It's do or die for them. And Complexity already had a great result against G1, winning a Game 5 brawl.
Yeah, it's just about surviving for both of these squads. If NaVi lose, they are out. They're done. It's as simple as that. As for Complexity, as long as they win, they would go through second and they would stay in the winner's bracket when we look at bracket play. For NaVi, it's a little bit more different. They would have to beat Complexity 3-0 or 3-1 if they want to go through winner's bracket. If we have a 3-2 matchup where NaVi win, then suddenly things go to tiebreakers, and even my mathematician mind cannot get down that path just yet. But there's the series layout that we have for this series. It's going to be CTF Empyrean to start with, Slayer Livefire, King of the Hill Streets, Oddball Livefire, and then if we need it, of course, Slayer Aquarius. Both these teams need to be on their A game to kick off today's Saturday action.
And both these teams did match against one another in the last event, Dan. That went to, does everybody remember the Slayer? That was 50-50. So NaVi know what's in front of them here. They know they have to get the job done. There's no more mistakes, no more errors that can be made.
And whilst it's a very different Complexity roster, NaVi, I'm sure, will see that organization on their screens and they will have all those bad memories, but it's time to right those wrongs as we go into Empyrean. An incredible map to start with here for a lot of the players on that main stage because they loved Halo 3, they know how Pit works as we get into the action here on Saturday at the Optic Major.
Rocking and rolling. On board the Snipedrone, overshield popped into his chest, 3 dead for Complexity. The perfect start off the rip as Jim finds KingNick with the rockets as well. Could this be a cap opportunity right off the get-go?
Finds the sniper just hovering. And for all the talk on the desk about Gilkey and what he can do with a sniper, I tell you, Snipedrone has sniper in his name for a reason.
One of the best in Europe, showing why here. And when NaVi need him most, is he going to stand strong? Is he going to take the pressure on his shoulders to drag them forward? KingNick steps out to try and get the return. Still needs a touch on a Tusk down to no shield, and zMightys keeps it alive.
That is an incredible touch from zMightys, but Gilk's in a position to just make sure it gets shut down, and now, yeah, waste that ammo, get rid of it, because you're going to be pushed, and Gilkey, he can do real damage with that sniper rifle as well.
Flag didn't make too much progress. Jimbo's going to try and step out, but a lot of members of Complexity on hand to get the return in the end. A decent start for NaVi, but Complexity holds strong.
And I think looking back at yesterday's action for NaVi, they're 0-2 at the moment. Jimbo did have a couple of bad games. He's not necessarily slaying as well as we're usually used to see him, and I want to see him step up a little bit in this series. But now it's KingNick's opportunity with the sniper here in Seoul.
Snipedrone's in trouble, dropping down 2 members of Complexity to deal with. One has sniper, one has heatwave, and whether you're playing rock, paper, or scissors, you lose that fight all the live long day. As Complexity start to extend forward, flex their muscles a little bit. Jimbo's over towards the Mangler situation as Snipedrone gets his face ripped off, as does Jimbo elsewhere. Snakey getting shot in the back. Gilkey has a flag pull. zMightys left all alone, has got to try and win this, and does. But it's going to be a trade nonetheless, unless the teammates are on hand. Snipedrone there. zMightys goes down. Can they get the flag long haul? The answer is yes, but someone has got to relay it.
4 temporarily were down there for Complexity, but this is in a dangerous position. They need to get ahead of that flag and not be too vulnerable. Good play from Jimbo to make sure he goes under bridge so he can be a distraction, then the re can come through. NaVi managed to hold off, and this is a good stop from them. As it does seem like the sniper is going to be the real difference maker, as it has been in this tournament. How many times so far in Empyrean CTF have we seen players just going off, going nuts, hitting 2 or 3 headshots with a sniper rifle and being able to stop a flag on their own?
Both teams in the early engagements threatening to get a flag cap. Rocket's going to be sent over towards Jimbo and does find a home. It had to come a long way and still hit the Englishman. Suppressed. 1 rocket to go. Snipedrone going towards Snipe. Splash damage not going to be enough to get the kill, but take him down to no shields. Jimbo's isolated on Tower 2, trying to put down some shots, as is Snakey. They're trying to combine. Snipedrone's got his attention on the sniper rifle, trying to survive here. Overshield's going to make moves, and all of a sudden, NaVi are in big trouble here.
Yeah, NaVi can't allow Rockets and Overshield to go that comfortably into the hands of Complexity, and as long as Complexity hold this one right, it should be a cap. Because you've got enough shields to get this down long haul, and you can have players to get in a position to stop those spawners, and Tusk just needs to hope that someone's got cover from training.
Flag dropped down a little bit, Gravity not being his friend. Can he get the flag home? He gets stopped, but just needs a touch from anyone. Gilkey's playing this one patient down long haul. Assault rifle in hands. Information will be passed over. Flag will be punched in, and Complexity take the lead.
Yeah, NaVi need to learn a lesson there as well. Just need to make sure they focus something. Get that rocket, get that overshield. Now they can make a run at least and try and go for some sort of counter cap, but Gilkey's in prime position to be the savior here for Complexity. He can get 2, or should have got 2, but Tusk is there to clean things up. 3 dead now for NaVi, and this flag should be dead.
Snipedrone recognizing that. Drop wall is going to go down. Snipe rifle for Tusk as well. Trying to lead the troops to victory here in game number 1. He's going to challenge over towards BR, taking down to no shields. KingNick immediately tries to put the pressure on. Jimbo on tower 2, backing the snipe rifle down long haul, and NaVi have combined to ensure KingNick can't do the damage that he would have wanted to.
Suppress just trying to stay alive at the moment. That's great distraction technique from Tusk as well. As Complexity really pressuring NaVi off spawn. Every single time I've seen NaVi rip up on over to that sniper side, they are struggling to get round, so instead they try to force it through green. It has worked out on this occasion, but look at the patience from Tusk. He gets shut down, and now NaVi can try and make a run through long haul here. But because of the grenades, you have to be timing this throw correctly.
Trying to force this one down long haul. 2 slays have gone against NaVi though. 1v1 with Snakey. Can he come out on top? The answer's no. Shut down. Snipedrone again. Left all alone with 2 members of Complexity down long haul to deal with. This one is also going to be dead in the water, with power-ups and power weapons about to be in play.
I mean, the right decision from Snipedrone to stop thinking about the flag and instead start to look towards Overshield or Rockets. It looks like Rockets is going to be the decision as they work together, and it should be 2 go down on the side of Complexity, so this is far better from NaVi. They may have to give up the Overshield, though, because they weren't in a position to grab it. So it's going to be Rockets versus Overshield most likely, but as I say that, Snipedrone and Jimbo work in tandem, get a kill, flag on the go again. And NaVi doing well to get these flags out of the base. They just haven't quite had that all 4 dead to give them proper control.
Just can't put the pieces of the puzzle together to get that flag cap. KingNick goes down, but he made the Rocket player waste 2. Snipedrone has somehow managed to pick up that overshield. That kill on Gilkey would have been pivotal, but again, Snipedrone finds himself in a situation where he gets out there to try and help his teammates, but they've all died around him.
Well, it was something that GB was saying on the desk. He wants to see Snipedrone at his very best, wants to see why he's one of the best players in Europe. Stat-wise, he's doing and performing well at the moment as he makes it 14 kills on the board. But as you've mentioned a few times, he has been the last alive time and time again. NaVi trying to make the push with Jimbo, Snakey, and Mighties. Snipedrone likes to anchor a little bit for NaVi, but sometimes you just have to sit back and hope that off spawn some teammates can help you very quickly. On the side of Complexity, however, they're all kind of sharing the load a little bit. KingNick, 13 kills right now as we've got another set of snipers.
Suppress looking to steal the opposition snipe rifle, picks it up, scoops it off the map. Great play from Suppress to ensure they cannot do any damage on the defense here with that snipe rifle. Heatwave will get down a couple of shots and put down some damage, but unfortunately for Suppress, doesn't have a battle rifle now after that decision that he made. But unfortunately for him, unfortunately for Jim, gets absolutely fried to the core. As flag will be pulled, but it will not make any progress.
No BR, no problem. Wanting to get that flag on the move, but it's kind of carnage at the moment and pit on both sides. A little bit of control for NaVi, but again, grenades off spawn is something you've got to try and avoid, but Mighties takes a lot of damage, and Tusk is there waiting, and this is going to be the difference maker now. Complexity have a sniper, NaVi do not, so for the next couple of minutes, NaVi need to work very hard to either A, get this sniper out of Tusk's hands, or just avoid it completely.
Tusk then on Banana. Jimbo gets tagged on training. Tusk backs away, puts it in reverse, looking to change the angle. Maybe get a different bit of trajectory here. He goes back to Banana. Maybe hoping to catch them by surprise. He manages to tag Jimbo. Good for 1. Good for 2 now. Double kill for Tusk. Snakey could be the latest victim. KingNick's there. Snipedrone alive once more in the mauler. And can he be cleared out? He tries to put his back to the wall. Snipedrone does just about escape with his life, but only for now.
Complexity's starting to get more aggressive and press up now. They've got the overshield and rockets yet again. Even though Suppress goes down, KingNick's there to clean things up with the overshield. It should be 3 dead for NaVi, or could have been. Jimbo just about ducks, and Snipedrone again is still being a one-man army, gets a double kill, and it might be enough just to make this flag run very awkward here for Complexity.
Nick still has a little bit of overshield left to play with. Faced with 2 members of NaVi, they do clear house, they do defend well, but all of a sudden, shot clock starts to play a factor. Just under 4 minutes to tick away. NaVi are in trouble of letting this one slip through their fingers.
Yeah, it's all well and good defending well, but when you're 1-0 down, you need to start thinking about how you're going to get a flag on the go. Snipedrone gets taken down by Suppressed. He was trying to go for a cheeky little flank down under Sword. And now NaVi find themselves in a bad situation, but Jimbo at least did enough damage to get the assist. This is fine from Complexity. They can play this game. They can be aggressive. They can go for weird kind of strategies for flanks just to try and disrupt NaVi's pushes, disrupt any control they want to go for. Again, Snipedrone pushing on his own and getting shut down quickly.
Complexity making this very difficult for for the European team. Jimbo tries to venture forward once more. Has managed to make it to the flag, but hasn't got the support that he needs. Snakey's got a kill, but he's been traded out. Jim will throw the flag up towards the plat. Gilkey does some damage, backs away, bait and switch. Here comes Tusk to finish the kill. Textbook from Complexity.
And NaVi is starting to get a little bit desperate as they're pushing into the base and tossing this flag. They want to get it on the move, and we've already seen it twice where they've got it down long haul. They haven't had total control at any point where they've been able to get all 4 dead and then watch those spawns. Big fight here for Snipedrone, and he wins it. Even though he has been pushing on his own quite often, he has been winning those engagements, so you can't really fault it too much. Just need some help from the rest of the team now as they're starting to get aggressive. Complexity are turtling up a little bit as they've recognized the time and they know they can start to play defense.
The Gilkster has sniper rifle in hands. NaVi were 3 dead for but a moment, as it looks as though the call has come to play defense for a moment longer before venturing out. Tusk has gone under bridge. As the watchful eye of Gilkey and sniper rifle to boot. Ooh, and Snipedrone gets his face ripped off. Rocket's about to pop, and Gilkey's just patrolling and surveying the land, getting information for his team. zMightys is going to look to pick up this overshield, and Gilkey's aware of it, drops down. Snakey's gone down with the help of the heat wave. zMightys is in big trouble of joining his teammate here. Scoops up the overshield. Can Gilkey get the kill? No, he can't. Overshield in play, and Gilkey's going to try and play off the sniper rifle. Decent from him.
Maybe he could have had a better opportunity at just trying to stay alive, but he was just well versed in knowing how important it is to take that sniper out of NaVi's hands, and Suppress makes it a double. 1 minute 35 now on the clock, and Complexity are just set up. They are waiting. They are encouraging NaVi to push them and saying we are just going to be able to defend this base. Especially when you've got the only sniper on the map as well. It gives you a distinct advantage, but the bullets are starting to run out, and speaking of running out, Suppressed has no ammo whatsoever.
Snipedrone pops up top tower, trying to get his team cooking. Looking for help. KingNick trying to make this difficult, clears him out. It's a strange challenge from Snipedrone, but perhaps the pressure of the moment getting to NaVi here as they very quickly realize time is running out. Pressure continues to mount.
Well, they've been pushing individually into the base a couple of times, NaVi. They've got one last push. They just need to band together, try and go either through green or long haul. It looks like it's going to be a double push at the moment. Gilkey's the first one to take the challenge, but Gilkey wins and at least gets a trade, and that's good news for Complexity. They just need to keep numbers healthy here and make it awkward for NaVi.
NaVi trying to use brute force. 40 seconds on the clock. It has to be now. Snakey backs down Tusk. KingNick gets a kill on the Jimbo. And could that be the death knell in this game number 1? Snakey goes down as well. Numbers are being cut as Snipedrone continues to stay alive, continues to make it a difficult task to take him down. He gets a touch on the flag as well, hoping his teammates are on hand to get some sort of touch. So swing and a miss with the melee, but will get the job done. But it's 3 dead for Complexity. There's still a chance here.
Gilkey has a lot to do here. He's taking grenade damage. zMightys been able to get a touch on that flag, and it's going to be tried to toss down long haul. The grenade's going to be big off spawn, and is anyone going to be able to get to training as Jimbo just gets through? It's last chance saloon here for NaVi, but players have gone down as now Jimbo just needs to avoid the damage, and again he's still alive.
Jimbo just about tucked his head around the corner, but a grenade banks off the wall. Someone has got to get a touch. Snipedrone has stepped in to try and keep the pie chart alive, but Tusk wins that 1v1. Snakey's the last man standing. Can he get the touch? He stepped out and Tusk has stepped in, and Tusk does the damage, and Complexity take game 1.
A great effort in the final moments from NaVi, but you have to feel like Complexity had hold of that game for the majority. It was just a little bit too late of a push from NaVi. They were never really able to get that control. They were constantly threatened by Complexity, throwing their snipers off the map as well. They really reduced the chances for NaVi to have that pop-off moment. We only saw really Snipedrone have a sniper rifle once, right at the start of the game. So a great game plan executed there by Complexity, and they take a 1-0 map lead. Now, as I alluded to before the series started, if NaVi want to get into winner's bracket from this pool, they would have to win either 3-0 or 3-1. So now they're going to have to go all the way here if they want to take down Complexity and find themselves in the winner's bracket. So it's a long old road, but a great start for Complexity, who of course just need a victory here against NaVi to come second in this pool.
And if you're wanting a reminder of who's in this pool, Pool B consists of SSG, G1, NaVi, and Complexity. And a reminder, Complexity already beaten G1 in a Game 5, so G1 are looking onto this and hoping that maybe Complexity could do them a favor just to guarantee they make elimination bracket here.
Yeah, G1 just want to get through. As I said, there could be some crazy 3-way tie, but I think G1 will just be more concerned about getting into bracket play and not finishing 4th in some scenario where NaVi were able to win this one. But as for game 1, I mean, it was a slow game at times where neither team was able to really get that total control and get all players off spawn and get all 4 dead. It was very scrappy, but I think that is going to be what happens in a lot of these games because Complexity are going to throw everything at NaVi. Remember, Complexity came all the way through the open bracket. They were the #1 seed in the open bracket, but they did take a loss on the open bracket in winner's bracket, and they had to fight all the way through the elimination. So it's been a very long journey for them to get here, and now they would love to find themselves in champ bracket in the winner's side. Slayer Livefire is map number 2, and if anything that we learned from map number 1, I'd say that slay-wise, it was somewhat similar. There was maybe a couple of players who were a little bit slow out of the blocks. Jimbo and Mighty didn't have the best game in map number 1, but as we move over to Livefire, perhaps they'll be a little bit more comfortable.
Something that we did see in map number 1 is NaVi continued to try and run that flag long haul and never really had the pieces in place to ensure it was going to be a guaranteed flag cap. Even at the end, with that desperation that they were, of course, they had to try and get the flag moving, but they never really felt comfortable, and that was down to Complexity making it so difficult for them.
And the fact that Complexity went 1-0 up as well, it just constantly pushed NaVi in a position where they felt like they had to be pressuring the base, they had to be trying to run that flag, and it got a little bit frustrating for them. They never had the time to be able to push into the base and then say, okay, well, actually, if I just hold here, be a nuisance, and then we can think about a flag cap once we've got some control. Instead, they were trying to move and groove while slaying, and they were very close in those final moments, it has to be said, but the ice came out of Complexity in the end.
Slayer on Livefire is on the horizon here, game number 2. And like we say, it was do or die before, and it's getting even closer and closer here for NaVi with 1 foot out the door of the tournament. They have got to come to life. They've got to find the spark here in this Slayer, or it's a long and arduous road back. And not only that, but they'll be hoping for some sort of weird tiebreaker to progress.
Yeah, and they don't really want to be thinking that. I mean, of course, NaVi's main focus is just winning this series at the end of the day, but it will be in the back of their mind. NaVi have already won Slayer Livefire this tournament, so they know how to get the job done. Complexity have yet to play it in champ bracket, of course, but they probably played plenty of it throughout the open. So it's just going to come down for me of who's going to be able to prioritize and get that power up more often, because it was something that NaVi struggled to do in the early stages of Empyrean. They weren't necessarily getting the rockets, they weren't getting the overshield, and it was a little bit too late when they did start to get their hands on it.
Can NaVi find the extra gear, or will Complexity put another nail in the coffin? We're about to find out. On board with Suppressed, NaVi have got to find the ice, but Complexity continue to turn up the heat.
Already it's going to be positioning themselves for this overshield and making sure that you've got eyes on it from Suppressed. Gilkey's already getting kills as well. 3 are dead for NaVi. It's the perfect start for Complexity. zMightys was the last remaining player, but the spawns have happened, so at least they can push in tandem here and try and shut down Suppressed. But now, yeah, it's going to be an easy pickup for Complexity. First overshield is going to be in their hands. It's 4-0. It's a flawless start.
Complexity playing this one patient, nice and slow, maximizing any mistakes made, punishing NaVi when they step out of line. Overshield for KingNick, face to face with zMightys. NaVi had a member over towards green. Snakey trying to do the damage. A couple of spike grenades go down. Overshield has been taken care of, but no kills. 6 kills without reply here.
Snipedrone caught a little bit isolated at the moment. You could see temporarily on the screen he was trying to get over towards Jimbo, but I think he's going to be stuck at green. And NaVi already on such a back foot here where they have to start thinking outside the box about how they want to break this setup a little bit. Snakey goes down, and it's Gilkey who has the sniper rifle. This is bad news here for NaVi. zMightys will be able to get one, but now Gilks is in position just to shut them down of any sort of push. 9-1.
Gilkey hands over the heat wave, distributing the resources, trying to do maximum damage on the map here. Snipedrone goes down once more. He's been picked on his own a couple of times already. Playing isolated, playing alone. They're not moving together as a unit. They don't seem to have a coherent plan in place as of right now. Yeah,
now Gilkey's in position to watch over this overshield, but NaVi are aware of it. This is good play from Jimbo just to back that sniper down and allow someone from his team to step up over towards Ovi. It's actually going to be zMightys who gets the push, but it's the wrong player they've taken down because Sniper is still going to be there watching. Maybe Snakey gets that information because Jimbo going down means that it's going to be another overshield going over towards Complexity. This has gone from bad to worse for the European side. Gilkey gets another kill. Snakey goes down. It's already a 10-kill gap. 14-5.
KingNick marauders forward. Grenade will completely take away his overshield, but the damage is already done on to Jimbo to make that an easy kill. Jim's struggling here to get on the board. They need to try and put something together here because they're in real danger of letting this series slip through their fingers. Already down by 1.
And not only do you put yourself in a position where you might have to reverse sweep to win this series, but with how this game's currently going, it is a stomp right now. And that is going to do terrible things for your morale, for your belief of actually saying, can we realistically get back into this? As 2 players did have 0 kills, Snipedrone's just put some on the board. It's a big double kill. Maybe that's going to be enough to lift the hopes and spirits here of NaVi.
Doubts will start to creep in for NaVi. Already down by such a large margin. Not out of the realms of possibility. We've seen comebacks before. If they can get some power weapons and power ups, they can turn the tide. But they've got to do it sooner rather than later. As they're all set up over towards tower side now. A couple of members bottom middle. Snipedrone gets 1. Jimbo's on the board. 11 kills the difference. Gilkey. That was nasty. Oh, and Gilkey's heating up. Gilkey's cooking. 3 dead for NaVi. Bad news bears.
I was very surprised yesterday when I saw that Complexity had lost the game in the winner's bracket of Open, because Gilkey and this entire Complexity roster, I looked at it on paper and I was like, they can do some real damage, and they already have done by beating G1, and they're looking in good position at the moment to go 2-0 up here against NaVi. Gilkey at the moment 9-0, just staying alive, being a nuisance, and finding all the weapons he needs to be putting on a show here for everyone at the Optic Major here in Arlington. Overshield is going to be popping, and again, Gilkey's in place to make sure that his team's going to be able to grab it.
Gilkey 1 shy of a killing frenzy. Jimbo could be the victim. As Overshield again grasped by Complexity. Tusk puts Jimbo in the black screen once more. And Gilkey can play this one patient. His teammates spread out all around him. Cover fire, information being downloaded all the time. And NaVi continue to be on the ropes.
It's one of those where sometimes when you're on the horizon of a killing frenzy or any sort of medal, you do play a little bit differently, and it can hinder you ever so slightly. But because they've got such a big lead, Gilkey can play this however he wants, really. Manages to tag up Jimbo. ZMightys going to be the next one, and it just keeps getting away from him.
But for NaVi, a dagger, when kills like that continue to go away from you, you can't trade it out. You start to look at the scoreboard, you start to see your teammates looking a little bit dejected and deflated. And maybe you're thinking game 2 is not your day.
I mean, earlier, Golden Boy made up some weird stat and said that I made it up. I don't know, some statistics about if you get to 40 kills, it's a 10% chance. I can't remember what it was he said, but at this rate, I'd love to know what the stats are of getting back into a game like this. 32-16, so far behind. You have to have so many all 4 deads. Well, there's 3 for NaVi, so it's a start, but Gilkey's still alive, still hunting that killing frenzy.
You can tell by the way he's playing this, he wants the frenzy too. He's being pressured out of tower. Snipedrone comes, grenade goes down, Gilkey's in trouble here, but he does get that killing frenzy before going down. Damage has been done. 14 kills the difference here. And NaVi need a complete momentum shift if they're going to get back into this one.
Honestly, if he wasn't on the hunt for a killing frenzy, they may already be on 40 kills. He really was slowing that game down. He wanted to ensure he got that medal, and now he can just start to play a little bit more aggressively with the rest of the team as they look to try and close this game out. 4 seconds till the overshield to come up. Still a 13-kill gap between these 2 teams. Is it going to be another overshield for Complexity, or is anyone from NaVi going to be able to grab this one? They really need it if they're going to get back into the game.
2 dead apiece.
Triple
kill for Suppressed. And no doubt he was the man to scoop up the overshield. Jimbo's not around for the overkill. Jim will fire a shot. A warning shot, all it was. Shot across the bow. Didn't find a home on the Suppressed, and Jim tries to scamper away towards pillars, but he's in big trouble being pressured. Jim will find the body shot. Suppressed scoops up the sniper and says, thank you very much.
Now this game should be all she wrote, really, for Complexity. With how well they've been playing this tournament, they should not throw away a position like this, but NaVi need to at least work as hard as they can to try and shut down this sniper from Suppressed. That's job number 1, because if you can start to get the goodies, if you can start to put the pieces on the table, then maybe you've got an opportunity, but Suppressed absolutely destroys Snipedrone.
Snipedrone in the grave. They need 8. Make it 7. Suppressed takes down the Dutchman. zMightys. This one has been dominant ever since we got going. with 6 unanswered kills right off the rip, and Complexity haven't looked back since.
Well, NaVi trying to slow it down a little bit. They're trying to get together. You can see on the player outlines and where all the gamer tags are right now that they're moving through house and hoping that they can stay alive and hold hands a little bit. Jimbo gets the opener. They just need to be not allowing any trades, but the trade comes straight through. zMightys goes down, and if Complexity continue to trade, this game will be over very shortly. It's so difficult when you find yourself this far behind, because any sort of misstep, any mistake that you make, the other team is going to be able to take full advantage of.
Snakey trying to scamper away bottom middle. Been hassled and hurried. He gets himself out of there. No, he doesn't. Like a clay pigeon shot from the air. They need 4. Game 2 looking very much like a Complexity win. Overshield was picked up, but it goes down and hits the floor.
Also, he wanted to do as much damage as possible because he knew Nick was coming behind Jimbo. NaVi will get an overshield to work with finally, but it's just too late. They need 15, and it's only 1 more kill required for Complexity.
1 more to go. KingNick positioned top tower. Snakey's got overshield and heatwave to play with, but is he even going to be able to utilize it? Suppress soaring through the air. Snakey's been tagged up from every which direction, as he now turns his attention to just getting away and trying to survive. Snipedrone's in trouble of going down himself here. KingNick, though, plays it perfectly, stays alive, and Complexity double their series lead.
And I feel like that game was won in the opening couple of minutes when they took a 10-kill lead and NaVi were never able to get back into that game, and Complexity just kept them held as far as they could for just countless times over towards the overshield. It was like they just had them at arm's length and wouldn't let them swing. And that's going to be a frustrating one for NaVi and a tough pill to swallow, because now they start to think, do we have it in us to get a reverse sweep here? And what happens if we do get a reverse sweep? What does this group even look like if we were to win 3-2? Those are the thoughts that are going to be in the back of your mind, but at the end of the day, you just need to be thinking about getting back into this series and putting at least a map on the board. But it's hard to do so when Complexity are playing in the way that they are. Gilkey was having a field day at the start of this game, got his killing frenzy in the end as well. There were several times I thought he might have gone down, but he was just staying alive and being such a nuisance.
And if body language is anything to read, Snakey didn't look happy, he looked dejected, and listen, how could he? Down by 2 here. Not only that, but game 2 was a complete blowout. Nothing to even take away from it confidence-wise. Fundamentally, they were outworked and outmaneuvered. Game 3, it's going to be a very difficult one to bounce back in.
And it's a worrying time for the NaVi players, and I know them very well. Good friends of mine, used to compete against them, with them back in the day, and they're used to being at the top of European Halo. They're used to being the #1 team. They kind of got overshadowed a little bit by Quadrant. They see the success that Quadrant had at the last event, and NaVi know that they have the potential to kind of be competing with the top 8s of the world. But event after event, they find themselves just in that top 16, top 12 kind of matches, and they're losing game 5s that are so close in these Slayers, and it's just going to be doing horrible things to their mentals, because it's just event after event where you get beaten down by team after team. And if they find themselves losing 3-0 to Complexity after their open bracket run, then I worry for this NaVi roster, I really do. And I think it's difficult for them because they weren't able to boot camp. They weren't able to come out like Quadrant have been, and as we move forward to the next major and going into the World Championships, I think it's something that NaVi are going to have to be able to do, is get out here and be playing some of these American teams on LAN and be learning like we've seen Quadrant do. But the series is not over. It's 2-0, and there is still a hope, even the small amount of hope for NaVi right now being 2-0 down. But Complexity, they are looking fire. They are 2-0 up here. They've already beaten G1. They are on their way to going into the winner's bracket from open bracket after the hellacious day they had yesterday. It really would be incredible to see an open team make a run like this.
Complexity are really doing it the hard way. They were in the trenches, and they fought all the way to this point. Nothing was given to them. They've earned every single yard. Taken down G1, and on the cards to place perfectly in the top 2, just behind SSG. And for NaVi, the previous 2 events they were involved in, they went to tiebreakers in their pools. They finished 1 and 2. One time they progressed, the second time they went home. And if they're gonna do it here, they need to reverse sweep and hope in some way, shape or form that they can progress.
And I think the only people that really are going to be the most frustrated is themselves. They know they are good enough to be in this series. Like, they've gone toe-to-toe with these players across from them on main stage many a time, but it just seems like today they can't quite get over that final hurdle. There's been a few times where they've looked a little bit lackluster. Snipedrone had a good game 1, for example, on pit, but then on game number 2, maybe tried to do a little bit too much, was caught off guard a few times, caught on his own, and Complexity are now taking advantage of it. And I'm very impressed with Complexity. They have been excellent today, and remember, these are not the only games that are happening right now. Pool play is being concluded around the venue. Quadrant currently 2-0 up against Ascending Baseline, so the other European team having a better time in their pool. Status quo, 2-0 against 6 Karma. They might be able to get out of their pool from open bracket, and Cloud9 currently playing Bittersweet. And we've already seen how well Cloud9 have been playing, so we might have, what, 3 teams from open get out of pool play.
Incredible run from Status Quo, Cloud9 and Complexity as it stands. Ascending Baseline have their work cut out for them here. Down in the final game. They're to lose this one, they'll be tumbling out of the competition, it would seem.
But of course, Ascending Baseline did get the worst group out of all of them. They went into the pool of death with Quadrant and FaZe and Sentinels. It was always going to be one open team that was going to struggle. But the fact that we've had 3 open teams possibly coming out of pools here, I think shows the depth of the open bracket, the amateur teams. And I say that with quote marks because I don't feel like these players on the main stage are amateurs whatsoever. They could quite easily be in the championship bracket time and time again, and we've already seen those names up in lights. But as you can see for Quadrant and Ascending Baseline, that game is close to finishing 3-0 to Quadrant. Even though it was a tough all day for them on Friday, they might be able to just scrape through this pool and at least focus on an elimination bracket run in the championship bracket.
And it's tough for a team like Ascending Baseline, right? They go through the entire open bracket, they're celebrating that they've just made it and qualified for pools. They're almost shadow boxing, thinking, who are we going to take on next? Yeah, you're going to slot right into the pool of death. Well, okay, I guess that's a reward, is it? Yeah,
and you face 3 teams who are expected on paper to finish top 6, but you can see that one is concluded. Quadrant will take it 3-0 and will finish 3rd in their pool, I would imagine. Of course, I don't know the exact results from Ascending Baseline, but that's good news for Quadrant, who are able to get that victory. Now back to our feature game on main stage. Complexity just need one more map for themselves to go forward in this group, not just in the elimination bracket, but they have a chance to go through in the winners bracket from this pool.
And just a quick sidebar for Cloud9, they actually have the potential and the opportunity to top their pool. And what a story that would be from the open bracket for them to go on and top the pool. But like you say, back to Complexity versus NaVi. King of the Hill Streets is game number 3, Dan. Is there anything you can tell me to give maybe NaVi a little bit of hope here?
I think that NaVi, it's just a case of throwing game types out of the window here. It's not about like what they're good at, what they're bad at. It's their mentals. They just need to be focusing on themselves and making sure they're working as a team. They don't look like they're up for it. I'll be completely honest. I think at the moment they're just wanting to get this one over with. There needs to be a word from someone, whether it's Jimbo just saying, guys, we still have the ability to do this, whether it's Wonderboy behind them saying, let's just make sure that we give this our all here and we at least go out with a bang. If we're going to go out, let's give them hell. Let's not make this easy, because at the moment, that game 2 was a very one-sided affair.
NaVi in danger of going out in a whimper, and it's the difference between some of the top teams. We speak about the mentality of the top 3 teams. When they find themselves, down 0-2 and heading into a potential clean sweep, they find an answer and they reverse sweep it, and we see it time and time again. But when NaVi find themselves down 0-2, you can see the looks in their faces. They look like they're out of the competition already.
And they've been here a few times, but I can tell you NaVi are good enough to get back into this game. But it's all well and good me saying it. It's them that need to show it. It's them that need to prove it, because I'm not the one who's asking the questions. It's Complexity who are asking the questions on the main stage, and at the moment, there's not been too many answers from NaVi. Individually, they've shown up at times, but they need to be working a little bit more as a team, and they need to make sure they do it quickly, because they could find themselves on a flight home very soon if they do not. On the other side for Complexity, very impressed with what Gilkey's had to offer today. I think that it's always going to happen. Every event, Gilkey finds himself on another team, and some people are saying, is Gilkey still got it? He's always still got it. It doesn't matter if it's 15 years ago or if it's today. Gilkey is an incredible player here on Halo Infinite, and with the rest of this Complexity squad, they can definitely do some damage in this entire bracket, and I think that I'd be worried about playing and facing them as we move on.
Yeah, I think another word for Gilkey. I think he has one of the best decision makers in the business when it comes to LAN. Some of the plays that he makes, he never seems to put a foot wrong. Always gives you consistent output, and you can see here and again with a killing frenzy in the last game, he's looking to close this series out with a clean sweep. King of the Hill Streets is where he's looking to do it.
I guess the only kind of silver lining here for NaVi is Complexity have already lost King of the Hill Streets in pool play so far, so NaVi maybe can take something away, saying, okay, they are beatable, we can take them down, we can do exactly what G1 were able to do, or SSG were able to do a little bit earlier on. But it's just a case for NaVi where they'll be looking at this one and saying, let's believe. Let's just absolutely give them hell here and show Complexity what we're made of.
Well, is it time to head over to the Greyhounds and call Ted Lasso? Is it time to touch the poster, believe? It's an opportunity for NaVi to keep their tournament hopes and dreams alive here. And for Complexity, they're looking to give NaVi the backhand and carry on business as usual. NaVi have got to bounce back here, or they're heading home. Complexity have looked dominant in games 1 and 2. Are they about to put the finishing touches to this murder pie? We're about to find out. On board with Snipedrone, Stalker Rifle in hand.
I'd like to see a little bit more sandbox control from NaVi in this game as well, and Stalker Rifle is exactly the start you want, because now you're going to have timing on it, but 3 are dead for NaVi already. It's a far-betting starting strategy for Complexity, just as it was on Livefire, and it was just a snowball that got out of control in game number 2, and NaVi can't allow that to happen again here on King of the Hill streets.
Rockets for Tusk. Eyes on Red Room. Here comes Snipedrone. Oh, he's just looked away. Could be a victim of timing. One rocket will not connect. Only gets a little bit of shield damage, but the second one will find a home. 3 dead for Complexity. NaVi break the setup. There's an opportunity then, if they can hold this one here, to take the lead. Gilkey with Commando will immediately obliterate the shields and take the life of Snipedrone.
Bulldog in Jimbo's hands. Wants to at least help Mighties here, but it's just, again, it's positioning from Complexity. They're in really awkward spots, and they're playing a little bit sparse at times where they're separated and NaVi maybe aren't expecting it and they're getting caught off guard, and it's really tough to try and assess where Complexity are going to be. And Jimbo's got a lot to do here from Tyres. You can see he wants to get up close and personal. He wants to use that Bulldog, but he knows full well as soon as he pushes out, he's going to have eyes trained on him, and Gilkey gets the kill.
First shot, the Bulldog didn't connect, and that was detrimental to the cause. Snipedrone's heading into Arcade. Got himself a kill, but it's going to be traded out. 2 for 1. Complexity have the numbers in their favor. They have a toe on the hill. They're very close to scoring. NaVi are disjointed. NaVi are on the back foot. 2 go down once more, and Complexity take the lead.
And it's just simple things, isn't it? Like Complexity dancing around the pillars, making life so tough for NaVi. NaVi can't get the sight lines, and all the meanwhile, Complexity is still scoring in that hill. And not only that, but they then have Tram priority, so now they're scoring again, and NaVi have to try and focus rockets whilst just giving up so much time here.
Jimbo's getting fried. Microwave in the back. Sentinel Beam doing so much damage. ZMightys has the rockets, and that'll do even more. As he descends on Tram now, and immediately Complexity step out. They realize the rockets will be doing the damage, and they give up a little bit of time in hopes of maybe, perhaps, baiting out a rocket. ZMightys 1 left in the chamber, and you can see he's not comfortable here. He's trying to find those players, but he's chasing shadows, it would seem. Helps a teammate over towards bottom middle. One member of Complexity situated over towards Commando as he steps out front base. Gilkey, front base rocket will not find a home. They've managed to bait out that rocket successfully.
You can see Mighties was concerned. He knew someone was lurking in the shadows, and it was a cheeky little Gilkey who managed to walk his way into Tram. NaVi have at least tied the time up here, but Gilkey's still alive, still being a nuisance. 3 up for Complexity. NaVi were down to just 2. And Mighties has a job to do here because he needs to wait for the rest of the team whilst also doing damage. It's Mighties versus Gilkey round 2, and Gilkey takes him down.
Gilkey has somehow managed to survive the longest time there. Dipsy doodling his way around trash down underpass into Tram, and eventually gets the kill onto ZMightys. And now Complexity can keep on scoring as NaVi find themselves 3 dead. Mighty's last man standing, spawning over towards Cafe, and his teammates are going to get tower spawns. They're a long way away from being able to influence this Tram, as it looks as though they're just going to give it up.
Yeah, they don't even have time to get across the map to try and stop this one. It's going to be 2-0 here for Complexity, and they are very much getting into territory now of a 3-0 in this series, coming second in their group, and what a run it would be from the open bracket. 8 seconds till rockets spawn. NaVi have been able to get a set of rockets, but they just haven't had the same amount of control that Complexity have when it comes to setting up for these hills, which is a surprise. I mean, Complexity, a far newer team. NaVi have been a squad for quite some time, close to a year now, if not more. They just haven't really able to find those same kind of setups, that same kind of control that Complexity have been finding.
Snipedrone fires 2 rockets, gets 1 kill. Bulldog in hand now. As he moves forward, clears out his B stairs. Bottom middle continues to be. Oh, and Snipedrone's dropped down. Hasn't cleared his angles. Handed over to Bulldog. The freest kill Suppress is ever going to get, as it was raining an Englishman for a moment.
Again, it's incredible play from Complexity just to be baiting out players and making sure people are in positions to trade things out as well. 11 kills at the moment for Suppressed. KingNick's got his hand on the Stalker rifle. This is going to be bad news for NaVi, because not only do they have control of the weapons, but they've also got eyes on bottom middle, and they can eat away at this time if they want. Of course, before the previous changes to King of the Hill, before the hill was ever so slightly altered, you could really bait out bottom middle and you could utilize the time to help you and be on your side. It's a little bit different now, but you can still play that way if you would choose to, as Jimbo manages to take down KingNick. But the trade comes through. 2 minutes and 15 left on the clock. Complexity still have a 2-0 lead. NaVi need to find something. They need to dig deep here.
2 members of NaVi combined, and eventually Gilkey gets taken down. He's made himself such a difficult kill at times here. So hard to clear. But NaVi have control of bottom middle. Suppressed and Gilkey going to look to peek out top ATMs. They managed to back zMightys out for a moment. Gilkey continues to engage with zMightys, who steps out. Getting hassled and getting harried as zMightys. He goes down. It's too easy for Complexity at times.
It's just how Complexity are prioritizing who they're shooting at the moment. Great teamwork, great team BR. Every single time NaVi turn a corner, they're usually being shot by 2 players. They're not getting those individual fights as often as they might like. And with another set of rockets, and this time it's very easy for Complexity to grab them. This is even worse news for NaVi, who are stuck in tram a little bit. Even if they try and push out Pink, they're going to be greeted by a rocket. And Tusk has got another one for good use.
You know what I'm sick of hearing and sick of saying?
What are you sick of hearing and saying?
I'm sick of hearing and sick of saying it's bad news for NaVi. I feel like I've said it all series long, and with good reason. This might be good news. Things might be turning. Fortunes might be changing. zMightys has Bulldog. Back in control of bottom middle. They just need a slivering more time. And all of a sudden, it's 2-1. And NaVi are back in this thing.
Yeah, it's not like it's all doom and gloom. It's not over, but my worry was how much of the clock was dissipating in front of NaVi's eyes. They need to get control of tower here. It's a killing spree for zMightys at just the right time, but the grenade will shut that down very quickly and promptly. As Complexity just need to delay everything for NaVi. They could very much play time if they wanted to here. Snipedrone going to try and stay alive into PD. Tusk is going to greet him with Gilkey. And now this is the decision. Do you stay? Do you go? And Gilkey says, you know what? We might as well just scoop up some time here. We don't want to give NaVi too many chances to get back into this game.
I think the song says if you stay or you go, there's going to be trouble either way. One will be double. So we'll find out which way it shakes. Jimbo in a 1v1. Over towards PD with Gilkey. Tusk is on hand to back him up. Grenade somehow hits the feet of Gilkey, but again he manages to survive. Again he manages to get a trade. 3 dead apiece here. Tusk in a 1v1 against Snipedrone.
This is all fine though for Complexity. They are more than happy to be having these trades, to having these scraps, because the time just keeps ticking down. Less than a minute now for NaVi to try and get back into this one. It's still doable. They still have a couple of pushes left, but they need to get that all 4 dead to really shut out Complexity, get control, and get this hill. But rockets are also now what you need to think about as well. There's so many things on the brain now for NaVi, but zMightys has already gone down, and Tusk somehow escapes.
Rockets popping up in 2. 3 dead for NaVi here. This one looks to be curtains. Unless NaVi can pull a rabbit out of the hat, perform a little bit of magic. Rockets have been scooped up. Gilkey's got them over towards Cafe. Is not interested in taking orders. They're happy to play time now. Happy to play Slayer. Bait the hill over towards Statue. They've got a full setup. And these rockets are going to punch a heavy hole in the heart and soul of NaVi. 2 rockets will connect and find a home with zMightys. 10 seconds remain here. Snipedrone goes down. All 4 members of NaVi go down. Complexity will beat NaVi, and Complexity will progress into the elimination and the upper bracket, Dan. They've made bracket play.
They have made the championship bracket, and they have been second in their group. They take down G1, they take down NaVi all the way from the open. Complexity have shown that they are a team who are the real deal here in Arlington. As for NaVi, unfortunately, 4th in their pool, and they will be heading home. It's another disappointing tournament for them. and a real shame that they were not able to get the job done here against Complexity. I feel like it was really that game 2 where Complexity were able to get a 10-kill lead and just kind of pummel NaVi into the ground a little bit, frustrate them, and destroy their mentals. But it's all about Complexity. It's all about those gentlemen on your screen. What a story it's been for them. It was a long old day yesterday in open bracket, and now they find themselves in the championship bracket, second in their pool. Congratulations.
What a story it is for that man, KingNick, on your screen. Dropped from Sentinels, placed top 12, looked to be on the downtrend, landed on his feet here with his Complexity roster, and has now already matched that top 12 placement and could threaten to push even further here.
And who knows, maybe we could see a Complexity versus Sentinels matchup happening in the championship bracket at some point. There is plenty to play for Complexity, and they should be extremely proud with the journey that they found themselves having over these last couple of days.
Played so well, so consistent all weekend long, only dropping one series so far this tournament to Cloud9, but have already made amends and have finished guaranteed second in the pool. What a performance out of Suppressed. And I'll tell you something, he's already on stage with Blaze. We can have an interview very shortly here, Dan.
Yeah, and I think that it's going to be a case where, you know, they're going to be very chuffed, they're going to be very excited, but they can now have a little bit of a breather as they start to think about championship bracket, because they didn't have many breathers yesterday going through that open bracket, I can assure you.
It was wall-to-wall gameplay, turning out nothing but the greatest hits. And we do have Suppressed on stage to chit-chat with Blaze. Take it away, fella.